From the National Weather Service in Raleigh, it's Nick Petro with your winter storm update. This is our sixth briefing in this particular storm series as of 9 a.m. today, Thursday, the 20th of January. So let's jump right into it. Let's just see what's going on here. And I'll start off at weather.gov/Raleigh. That's an easy website to remember, weather.gov/Raleigh. If you want to see what's happening current condition-wise. Well, first let's start off looking at the first thing that jumps out at you. Of course, and by the way, you can download our PowerPoint slides right here at the top where it says read more if you are not on our email list. Okay, so eventually I'll be uploading this presentation to Facebook. And so this is geared more for public folks who aren't on our email list. Just click the read more and you can get our slides. Anyway, you can see the watches, warnings, and advisories. So we have winter weather advisories in the blue. Okay, we have winter storm warnings in the pink, and this purple shade here, that's ice storm warning. If you're back in Forsyth, Guilford, and Davidson County, it looks like you're going to slip through this event with very little, if any, snowfall. Remember, our advisory criteria is 1 inch of snow. So we are expecting that those three counties in central North Carolina will remain below 1 inch of snow. I'm not saying you're not going to see any. You might see some, but right at this point, we're not expecting it to accumulate up to an inch. Okay, so there you have it. That's the criteria in the blue. 1 inch of snow is our criteria for winter weather advisory. 3 inches of snow is our criteria for winter storm warning, or a ½ inch of sleet, or a ¼ inch of ice. Okay, so that's the criteria. All right, so anyway, let's go up to current conditions. And if you mouse over, I'm not left clicking here, I'm mousing over, and you scroll down, mouse over to observation map, left click on that, that takes you to a real nice sort of situation awareness map display. I like to click on boundaries and turn on the states and the counties, because then that obviously helps me see a little bit better where I'm at. And then under observation tab here, I like to change this station plot to temperatures. All right, and then finally on the layers, I like to turn on radar. And that is what's going on right now, okay? And if you want more details about what's going on just beside temperature, you can just mouse over any of these numbers, or actually left click, and it'll tell you, like for instance, I just left clicked on Albemarle, Stanley County Airport, 44 degrees, 38 dew point, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there you have it. Those are the conditions. It looks like the instrument here is not picking up the rain. So some of this rain is not even reaching the ground. Okay, so anyway, there you have it. That's the rain that we've been advertising. It's moving in. It's beginning to move across central North Carolina. And that's the way things are at the present time. I don't see any freezing temperatures anywhere in the state. You have to go back on the west side of the mountains to get into the freezing temperatures. So it'll take a while for this air mass, this sub-freezing air mass, to make it over the mountains or come down from the north and come around and get into our area. All right, so let's look. Let's switch and look to the simulations, right? Because we wanted to know what's going to happen in the future. So we're going to use some model simulations. And what I've got depicted here is precipitation, where it would be precipitating, and what the type is. Blue represents snow, green represents red. And look for this first blue line. This first blue line represents where it is freezing temperatures to the north or west of that blue line versus above freezing to the south or east of that blue line. All right. So this particular model I'm looking at right here is called the high-res rapid refresh. Okay, this model is geared and designed to kind of do really well in the first day. Okay, this is sort of our go-to model when you're at day one, when the precip is actually occurring. That said, let's run through it. So here's what it shows the rain doing, moving across central North Carolina. This time frame right here is 10 a.m., so basically an hour from now. That looks like that's going to be pretty much on target, right? Based on what the radar looked like a moment ago. This time frame right here is 1 p.m. So it looks like, perhaps the coverage of the rain might pick up. This time frame right here is 4 p.m. And look what happens. The sub-freezing temperatures and the changeover to snow finally comes over the mountains. You know, the mountain counties in North Carolina will have changed to snow. All right, and let's keep going. Stand by here. All right, and that's let's see. This is 7 p.m. this evening, 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight. All right, so let me back up now. I'm backing up to right about where it changes to snow, and somewhere in this time frame right here. This is 7 p.m., this is 8 p.m. So if you are along and north of Interstate 85 or across the northern I-95 corridor, you're probably going to see that rain change to snow prior to 8 p.m. Okay, and then look where the freezing temperature is here. This is the freezing line. All right, so follow those few items. Let me go back to the time frame here. So that right there is 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight. Okay, so let me back up here. This is 11 p.m. And by 11 p.m., this model suggests that there's a mixture of snow and sleet as far west as Sanford, up toward just east of Roanoke Rapids. But basically, there's this changeover line right there, and this blue line is the freezing temperature line. All right. So one thing I'm concerned about is once this blue line that represents freezing temperatures slips to your south, I'm concerned that any water left on the road from this rain could potentially freeze. So I am concerned tonight about some potential black ice. Even if you forget about this, even if what I just circled right here never happens, doesn't happen. Let's say it doesn't happen. Okay, I'm still concerned about black ice and icy roads tonight because of the cold air that's pouring in and the temperature dropping below freezing before this rain wet roads have a chance to dry up. Okay, so this is midnight. This is actually that's midnight. That's 1 a.m., 2 p.m., 2 a.m. rather. And then as we head toward 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Okay, so let me back up here to pre-dawn, right? And by 4 a.m. overnight tonight, the freezing line is going to be almost to the South Carolina border through Fayetteville and east of Greenville, North Carolina. So this whole area north of there, roughly north of Highway 24, will be at or below freezing. Okay, and if any of the roads are still wet from the rain that fell today, then there could be some patches of black ice. All right. So if you're traveling in this area, late tonight, overnight tonight, and basically, tomorrow morning commute, there could be some patches of black ice. All right. And David saying, can we go back to 9 to 10 p.m. tonight? Normally, I don't jump into questions now, but let's go ahead and knock tonight out before we move on. Here is 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Okay, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. So if you're north of Highway 64, that's where 64 runs, kind of like that. If you're north of Highway 64, then that's where the changeover by 9 or 10 p.m., changeover to sleet and snow will be. All right. So what are our concerns for tonight? Maybe a very light coating of snow along and north of Highway 64. Very light coating, dusting. I'm concerned more about black ice from the rain that's falling today and the inability for those roads to dry up before the cold air comes in. All right. Those are our concerns for tonight. All right. Tomorrow. What happens tomorrow? This is 7 a.m. tomorrow right here. All right. 7 a.m., 8, 9, 10, 11, noon tomorrow. And you'll notice what happens. Everywhere east of I-95 seems to be filling in. Okay, here's I-95. I'm going to draw that. That's I-95. Basically, the counties that straddle I-95 and eastward appear to be filling back in with this peach color is sort of a sleet and snow mixture. Okay, so that's tomorrow, basically by midday tomorrow. And then let me take you through tomorrow afternoon and watch what happens. We get snow that develops on the northern end of that. That's tomorrow evening, or tomorrow 4 p.m. I'm sorry, tomorrow 4 p.m. And as we move forward through the evening hours tomorrow, then it looks like the snow makes it as far back as roughly, here's US 1 approximately. Okay, so let me leave that line on the screen, and you can see the snow makes it approximately as far west as US 1. Okay, that's tomorrow late afternoon into the evening. And then tomorrow night, overnight tonight, not tonight, what am I saying? Overnight tomorrow night, then the whole thing shifts basically east of I-95. All right, so we basically can split this event up into two events. Tonight, concerned about a very light accumulation, dusting, very light coating along and north of Highway 64. More concerned about black ice, pretty much anywhere across central North Carolina. We get a break tomorrow morning, and then by midday tomorrow morning, a mixture of sleet and snow fill in along the I-95 corridor. During the evening hours, it extends as far west as US 1. And then overnight tomorrow night, the whole thing shifts east. Okay, and then the snow ends from west to east. That's the way that this model seems fairly reasonable in depicting what conceptually appears to be the most likely scenario. All right, let me show you another scenario. This is more of a worst case scenario. Okay, so keep in mind what I just showed you, I think, is probably the most likely scenario. Another scenario, this is the GFS model, shows rain moving across today. Okay, no brainer there. That's kind of what we've been talking about. Snow along and north of Highway 64 this evening. Again, no surprise there. That's still in line with what other models have shown. Okay, and then it shifts east late tonight. There's that lull tomorrow morning, and then it fills back in tomorrow by midday. That's pretty much in line with the previous model I showed. And then by tomorrow evening, look at the snow is sort of filling in across the triangle region. Okay, you'll notice there's a little bit back toward the triad, not much, but again, the US 1 corridor seems to be a good dividing line even in this model. Okay, but I wanted to point out that the snow sort of intensity, if you will, this is a 10 p.m. tomorrow night. This particular model has, a pretty decent swath of moderate to maybe heavy snow occurring across the triangle region. Okay, tomorrow evening. So the triangle region, you're not out of the woods yet. Okay, if this model, which I would consider as the worst case scenario, develops, then those in the triangle region, look in that purple shading there, that represents heavier snow. There could be a 2-3 hour period of heavier snow if this model comes to pass. And then overnight tomorrow night, like all the other models suggest, it ends from west to east. Okay? Finally, let me show you one more model, and then I don't want this to go on forever, but let me show you one more model. This is our NAM model, which is more of a, I would say, least impactful situation. All right? Like the other models, this model too has the rain moving across today. Like the other models, this model has snow along and north of Highway 64 this evening. Okay, no surprise there. They all seem to agree about that. Okay, like the other models, there's a little bit of a break west of I-95 tomorrow morning. Okay, kind of like all the other models are showing. But then watch what happens as we get through midday tomorrow. All of the precipitation stays east of I-95. This is tomorrow late afternoon. Nothing fills in west of I-95. It all stays east of I-95. And not only that, but it's real patchy too. So the intensity wouldn't be like terribly strong. The coverage isn't really particularly great. Okay. And then by tomorrow night, it begins to move away and move east. So this is kind of the best case scenario model, which let me back up here. Tomorrow morning, tomorrow midday, tomorrow late afternoon, tomorrow evening, everything stays east of I-95. So if you're in the Triangle region, you're fine. If you're in Greensboro, Winston-Salem, you're like, hey, there's nothing here to worry about. You're dry, So anyway, all three scenarios are on the table. Everything from a period of decent snow in the Triangle region tomorrow late in the day, to nothing. Okay. The one thing I could say is that if you're in the triad, all the models would suggest that things aren't terribly bad. Okay. And that's for tomorrow. Again, tomorrow. Tonight, there could be black ice just about anywhere across central North Carolina. Again, thanks to the rain moving across this afternoon and the cold air pouring in overnight. And if you're along and north of Highway 64, there could be a coating of snow tonight or this evening into tonight, which could make for potentially hazardous travel. The big question mark still is what happens tomorrow, okay? And we're going to be ingesting and digesting all of the new model data as it comes in this morning. And by our 4:30 briefing today, we should be able to have a really good idea of what you can expect with tomorrow's weather, okay? Again, let's go back to weather.gov/Raleigh. And I'll wrap up my presentation with this. If you go to weather.gov/Raleigh, click on the snowflake, and this will show you our snowfall totals. Okay, here's our best forecast for where we think the heaviest snow is going to fall along. And if I-95 runs through your county, basically from your county eastward is where we think the heaviest snow, and we're only talking 2 to 3 inches, maybe 4 inches east of Rocky Mount. So not a super high amount. Again, very light amounts as you head back towards the triad. And I would say the greatest confidence is along and east of I-95. The decent confidence is in the triad, because we think once you get west of this line I just drew, there should be very light amounts. It's sort of that zone between I-95 and US 1 where there's a lot of uncertainty. It could be either nothing or it could be several inches of snow. There's just a great deal of uncertainty in this zone right here. Okay. If you're east of I-95, yeah, you're going to get a couple inches of snow. If you're west of this line here I just drew, triad westward, yeah, this is a very nuisancey event. But if you're between 95 and US 1, it's still a lot of uncertainty. And then finally, I don't want to, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the potential for freezing rain accumulation, ice accumulation. I don't want to overlook our friends down in Sampson County, because once you get basically south of Goldsboro, south of Clinton, I know yellow doesn't show up well on yellow, but look at this line I'm trying to draw here. If you get southeast of Goldsboro and Clinton, it could be more in the way of freezing rain instead of snow. Okay? So that said, this is where we have our watches, warnings, and advisories. Okay? So along and east of I-95, there could be warning amount snow. There could be up to an inch in the blue. Okay? Don't forget about tonight. There could be a light coating of snow along and north of Highway 64. And everywhere across central North Carolina, there could be black ice. All right, so that's what I have for you for this briefing here on this 9 a.m. on Thursday morning.